Hello, everyone, and welcome to Elevate Your Business. I'm Ed Jarecki, and I'm excited to take you on a journey through today's episode. Our goal is to inspire and empower you as you navigate your path to business success. Join us as we explore valuable insights and strategies that can elevate your entrepreneurial journey. Today, we're thrilled to have with us Aled Hollingworth, Vice President of Development at buildOn. Aled plays a crucial role in an organization that's making a significant impact both domestically and internationally. buildOn is dedicated to breaking the cycle of poverty, illiteracy, and low expectations through service and education. In the United States, they empower youth to transform their communities through intensive service projects. Globally, buildOn is constructing schools at an impressive rate, breaking ground on a new school every 2 days in countries like Burkina Faso, Haiti, and Nepal. Under Aled's leadership and development, buildOn has achieved remarkable milestones. Their students have contributed over 2.5 million hours of service in the U.S. and have been instrumental in building more than 2,600 schools worldwide. Aled brings a wealth of experience in community engagement and education to his role. Join me as we dive into buildOn's mission and to learn more about how they're changing lives for education and service. So let's welcome Aled Hollingworth to the show. Aled, it's wonderful to see you again. How are you doing?
You as well, Ed. Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well. Tail end of summer here, so excited for us to connect. Thank you so much again for having me on the show.
Oh, it is my honor, my pleasure. What you and your organization are doing is absolutely incredible. And so to start with, could you share a little bit more about yourself and your business?
Yeah, well, Ed, I'm going to take you a little bit on a life journey for myself. I was born and raised overseas, and through the work of my dad, who was working in international development, and my mom was a school teacher, I really was exposed at a young age to the impact that education can have globally. I was very fortunate to then, finish high school actually in India, and then come to college here in the United States. And in all of that experience, again, I was very lucky to explore the world, see the incredible connection that humans can make around shared values. And then coming to the US was really able to see the impact that young people can have on their communities here. And so that's what led me to buildOn. I've now been with buildOn in a variety of different capacities, working from our programs in both Bridgeport, Connecticut, and then in Boston, to now as sitting on the development team, which we are the fundraising branch of the organization. I've seen tremendous growth within the organization since joining. I remember celebrating with so many of our constituents and stakeholders when we constructed our 500th school globally. And as you shared in the introduction, we're now over 2,600 schools. And I remember celebrating when our students had contributed 1 million hours of service. So we're very, very fortunate that we've continued to grow and that people are passionate about our work. As you'd said, Ed, our mission is to break the cycle of poverty, illiteracy, and low expectations through service and education. We do that through intensive service learning efforts here in the United States, and then rallying communities to be at the forefront and the center of school construction. One of the things that we say at buildOn is that buildOn works to unite communities through change and ignite that change with the community. So we know that when we get communities into the center of what they're doing, they are the ones that are building that unity. They're uniting their community around making a better future for their kids or others in their community. We also know that when our communities go through that process with us, that they ignite change. In a recent study that we did as an organization, internal study, we went back and looked at 1,601 of our schools globally and in the villages that we worked in. And we saw that the villages actually 94% of those villages went on to build schools by themselves or with other organizations.
Outstanding.
Which is remarkable. It allows us to then really believe and know that when we work to unite that community around something, we rally them, we create internal, local leadership, that those individuals then can rally their community to go and find other opportunities for success and provide more educational opportunities for their kids. So I'm very excited to talk through this with you today. Love learning from the other individuals that have been on the show. And just, I am very, very passionate about the work that we do. And whenever we get the opportunity to share this work with others, we want to do so.
Outstanding. And so, success, how do you define it today?
Great question. So organizationally, we look at success as a short-term and long-term. What I'll say is our long-term kind of measures of success is that as an organization, in 2016, when we celebrated our 25-year anniversary, our national board and our leadership team came together to create our 25-year vision for what the next 25 years look like. And so that 25-year vision, we have very key a direction that we want to go as an organization. It may seem crazy to think 25 years ahead. However, one of the things that it's allowed us to really do is to say, this is where we want to be. And in order to get there, we need to create key benchmarks along the way.
Absolutely.
What we've done in that exercise is that our goal by 2041 is that we want to ensure that every child in our partner countries has a seat in the classroom. We also want to work that here in the United States, that we are closing the graduation gap in our 6 partner cities by 50%. And so we want to be at the forefront working with other entities, with other organizations, with the local governments and ministries of education to ensure that we can reach these benchmarks. What does that look like, right? How do you get there? And so for us, what we believe is that 30% is our tipping point. And so we believe that if we build 30% of villages in our partner countries, that we will be able to get to that place where every child has a seat in the classroom. The government will build some schools, other organizations will build some schools. Like I said earlier, communities will build some schools. Then we also believe that here in the US, if we engage 30% of high school students in our 6 partner cities, they then will influence other peers, other groups. So that's what success long-term looks like. I would also say, Ed, that we celebrate success at buildOn every day. Every time we break ground on a new school, that's a success because communities are believing in the future of education. Every time students go out and serve their community, that's a success, right? Because they're making their communities a better place and supporting their neighbors. So there's long-term success, there's short-term success, and success, in the middle. I'll also say the team that I work on the fundraising team, it's important to recognize that success is also ensuring that we have the revenue and money to support the growth and the operations of the organization. So in my role, I'm very lucky. I get to work with stakeholders who are passionate about our work. Well, I should say individuals, corporations, as well as foundations. We want to make sure that we're working with them to fulfill their goals as philanthropists or as corporate foundations or as foundations, and then make sure that we have a shared impact at the end of the day. And so, it's amazing. This year we're a $27 million organization in 2024. We're building 240 schools globally this year. And we're working in, I believe it's like 44 high schools here in the United States to get folks involved in our work. So.
Wow, absolutely incredible vision, incredible mission. Thank you so much to you and your entire organization and the work that you do. I applaud it. And we're going through a lot of transition ourselves right now, but at some point, I want to be on one of those teams, on one of those missions with you. So
I'm ready. You let me know. We can save this recording for that time. So, yeah.
Oh, well, actually, we'll just do another recording at that time. How about that?
Sounds good. I would love that.
The second question, this journey has always got its challenges and, of course, lessons learned associated with those. What are 1 or 2 of those top challenges and lessons learned that we can pass along to our audience?
Oh my gosh. When thinking through this question, one of the immediate things that comes to my mind is, as an organization, we have made a commitment that we want to work globally. We work in really remote rural communities that do not have access to school infrastructure. There's a lack of educational resources in those communities. We also want to work in countries where there's tremendous need, right? And specifically focused on breaking that cycle of illiteracy and poverty. Here in the U.S., we work in, schools in which are very under-resourced communities as well, in schools. In working in rural communities, there are many different challenges that are associated with the school construction effort. And I'm one person speaking on behalf of an organization, but I have to say that our staff on our global side is just incredible. They're out there every day visiting communities, working closely with communities, whether it be in countries like Haiti, which are experiencing, tremendous political instability and turmoil at the moment. You mentioned Burkina Faso, which over the years has experienced its own challenges in both political and safety concerns within the countries. In Mali, it's the same thing. And one of the things I'll say is our team just at buildOn, we say they just never give up. They believe in the passion for the possible. They have this resiliency that I dream of having that same level of resilience that our staff members have and the communities that we work with have. So I would say that there's just tremendous challenges working on the ground in the work that we do. What I'll also say is that the function that I play within the organization, some of the challenges that we experience are on the funding front as well. As a nonprofit, we do oftentimes have to go back every year to our constituents and stakeholders and ask them for their continued support of our mission. We have to hold true. We're very lucky. We've been able to see sustained growth over the years, but we have to hold true and report back to those individuals and the foundations on the work that we're doing. With that, there's a tremendous need in the nonprofit space for unrestricted funding. And what I mean by unrestricted funding is not pigeonholing that gift or making that gift allocated just to a specific program. The reason why that's really important is it allows us to be nimble. It allows us to really think about what do we need to put behind the organization to sustain that growth.
Absolutely love that. And it makes sense on why you're looking for unrestricted funds. I work for a nonprofit university, and yeah, some of those funds were very much directed, and rightfully so. Some of it was specifically on student scholarships. On the other side of it, there was a need to support the overall university and its mission. So it makes absolute sense.
Yeah, it's nice to hear that, you fully understand it. And I think one of the great things that we're seeing is just, some of the biggest name philanthropists that are making these massive contributions right now are doing that and leading the way as philanthropists and believing in an organization, doing a deep dive into their financials. For buildOn, we have been for, I believe it's 16 years in a row now. We've had a 4-star rating. It allows us to ensure that we're reporting our financials accurately, that we're sharing that with folks, that we're using the funds in the way that we've said that we're going to use it as well. You'd ask the question of not just the challenges, but also like, what are things that you've learned along the way? One of the things that I will say that really stands out is never underestimate the human spirit. We're completely disregarded by their schools. We're completely disregarded in some cases by their parents. Nobody believed in their future. And when they've gone out and served others, have seen the value of themselves and their community. So I have a story of a young man that I worked with in Boston, who I actually met him because he was storming out of a teacher's classroom. Unfortunately, him and the teacher didn't have a great interaction. He was swearing as the teacher as he was storming out of the classroom. And I asked him just simply what his tattoos meant. At 16 years old, I come to realize that he lost several friends to gun violence. And getting him out into the community, he started to see the incredible power that service had in his life and what he could do to others. He then went on and graduated from high school, entered into a community college in the Boston area, and enlisted in the National Guard, and wanted to then take his service to the next level and serve our country. He was deployed twice to go and support the U.S. Army internationally. And then he's come back and he has wanted to now think about a career in law enforcement. And he's taken that a step further. And he's actually recently, when I spoke to him, has been discussing potentially going on to law school because he wants to go and be a lawyer to represent people from his community. And so when I think about that human spirit, it's like, this is a kid who stormed out of a classroom and now he wants to go on to law school, And then globally, I'd say the same thing. We've seen community members that have walked miles to go and be a part of a school construction effort. Individuals that have donated land for a school to be built on so that they can ensure that kids in their community have access to education and a better future. So those are, I guess, a really quick piece for me. Ed, you can see I'm passionate about this. So feel free to jump in and pause me at any
I think
point.
that brings a tear to my eye because, quite honestly, what an incredible set of stories. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm sure you've got 1,000 of them. And that really reinforces that human spirit. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So next question, how are you leveraging innovation within buildOn to drive your success today and tomorrow?
Yeah, good question. So I will start on the technology front just to begin, because I think that there's tremendous power in what technology can do to support an organization like ours. One of the things that we notice, especially on the global side, is that we're working in rural communities. Access to internet's limited, access to electricity is limited, access in the last mile, right? The last mile without connectivity data into our CRM, and allows us to then use that information in a really more accurate way to predict and understand what we need to do as an organization. So from a data or technology standpoint, we've been doing a lot more of that over the last couple of years, which has been wonderful. Additionally, when we think of technology in this, we get the question a lot of like, well, could we donate computers to your schools? Or what about tablets? And it's been difficult for us to do that because if you don't have electricity or you don't have someone to maintain the tablets or upload the newest software on those tablets, it can be quite challenging. When we look at innovation, looking at potential opportunities to add solar to our schools if and when it seems as though it's the right move, which can be really transformational in the community. So in our construction efforts, we require that there's equal numbers of men and women that create a project leadership committee. So to us, this may not be an innovative idea, but bringing them into a same space and as equals is really important. What that does is it drives up the number of women that are enrolled, that come out to work on the work site. It changes the way that they think about jobs in many cases in their communities. It then increases the number of girls that go to school. It increases the number of women that attend our adult literacy programs. And so for us as an organization is we're always trying to understand here in the US, what are those newer methods of engaging young people? Where do we meet them in those moments? And how do we then really innovate and change our programs to meet the moment, right? To meet what's happening today. Whether that be during political campaigns and cycles, encouraging our students to write letters to their key officials. We do not, as an organization, tell them what they need to say in those letters or which side they need to be considering or what political view that young people should take. That's their decision. But we really want, in terms of innovation, we want our young people to think about what the future looks like, what their future looks like, and how they can be at the center of changing it. So maybe a different sort of answer than you
No,
normally.
actually, I think that's a well-rounded answer because innovation, like I said, it's people, process, technology, and the culture that envelops it. And so hit every aspect of that. So thank you.
Absolutely. And one other thing as we say this, Ed, that really stands out to me actually, that I think is quite an innovative thing that buildOn is doing, is that we as an organization realized that service develops leaders. And so what we have done as an organization is working with external folks as well. We've come to realize that all these are things that you learn from serving with and alongside others, right? And so what we are doing as an organization is we have opportunities for our corporate partners or others, so anyone out there interested in doing this, to come and learn from our students. And what we've seen, and we've had some incredible use cases of this, of senior executives within some very large corporations in this country that have come out and done service with our students and said that it was one of the most transformational leadership development experiences they've ever had. These are people who have gone through leadership training courses. These are people who have been promoted and had professional leadership coaches, one-on-one coaching. And they've come out when working with our students and hearing the stories of our students and hearing how they think about what's possible in their life and the resilience. Like, that's an incredible tool that we think we can leverage in our corporate partners as an asset to them and what they're trying to do in their learning and development programs as well.
Win, win, win. Win
Absolutely.
for them,
That's the
win
goal.
for the community, and win for buildOn as you continue to grow and expand. Outstanding. Love it. Final takeaway for our audience. If there was one thing that you would pass along to all of the business owners out there relative to driving their life and business success, what would that be?
I'm going to give a quick shout out to the individual who connected us, AJ Klenk from Catalyst Capital Partners, because I think AJ has really made a bold statement and a commitment to making the world a better place, both personally and through his professional endeavors. So really think about what it is that you and your business are going to do. Look into what other organizations are doing and companies are doing and live that. Don't just talk the talk, walk the walk, get involved. Think about what it is that you're going to do as a business and as an individual to make this world a better place, because Ed, you said it, win, win, win. When we can all win together, it's incredible what we can do. So that would be my big takeaway.
What a beautiful message. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the piece that I'll say is that, Ed, I think you and I share this value, is that I'm here to connect with folks, not as someone who is telling them that buildOn is the group that they need to support, but, just that we're here as groups of individuals that want to connect, want to support humanity, want to make sure that we're all winning at the same time. Of course, if anybody is interested at buildOn, we'd be happy to connect, and buildon.org. And, we're here and have very, very ambitious plans of growth for next year. For you, Ed, we're going to go from 240 schools globally to probably close to 400 schools globally next year.
Wow.
So a big jump there, but we're excited for what that's going to do for us as an organization and hundreds of thousands of people that will attend those schools one day.
My best wishes and prayers for your journey. I think what you're doing is outstanding, and I absolutely look to being part of your journey because I do think it's incredible. So thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you.
I want to thank you for joining us today with a special thanks to Aled Hollingworth for sharing his insights and success tactics. We hope you feel inspired and motivated to tackle entrepreneurial challenges with innovation and adaptability. Remember, success is personal. Define it for yourself. But always remember, embrace change, seek growth, and adapt to the ever-evolving business landscape. Thanks again to Aled and to all of our listeners, and we'll see you next time as we continue exploring more stories from incredible entrepreneurs. Stay resilient, stay innovative, and have a wonderful day, everyone.